Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the January 20th, 2026 meeting. Would you all please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, good morning again. We'll call this meeting to order. First thing we have on our agenda are approval of our minutes. Gentlemen, do we have any additions or corrections?
No, I do not.
I move to approve the proceedings of the Board of County Commissioners for Montezuma County held on Tuesday, January 13th, 2026, as presented.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to accept the proceedings of the Board of Commissioners, Montezuma County for January 13th, 2026. Is there any discussion?
No.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right. Next on our agenda is our planning. Come on down. Looks like we have the applicants in the room. And this being time set aside for a public hearing for a lot amendment, would you call the roll, please, Jerry?
County Commissioner Candelaria.
Here.
County Commissioner Lindsay.
Here.
County Commissioner Copenhaver.
Here.
County Administrator Travis Anderson.
Here.
Attorney Mawski.
Yeah, Stephen Tarnowski here.
We know him as Stevie T.
And Jerry Frizzell is Deputy County Clerk. Notice is hereby given that the Montezuma County Board of County Commissioners will hold a public hearing for review and determination of proposed subdivision amendment application to lots 17 and 18 of the Butler subdivision submitted by Scott and Gail Mayberry on property located at 23950 Road 37, Dolores, Colorado, consisting of 0.63 acres, more or less, and Darren and Candida Jamil on property located at 23962 Road 37, Dolores, Colorado, consisting of 2.09 acres, more or less, both located east of Highway 145, situated in Section 14, Township 38N, Range 14W, N.M.P.M. The hearing will be held Tuesday, January 20th, 2026 at 9 a.m. in the Commissioners' Hearing Room, Montezuma County Administrative Offices, 109 West Main, Cortez, Colorado. Interested persons may attend and give input. Information may be obtained from the Planning Office online, service at https://co-montezuma-co.community.com/public/home. You may also contact the Planning Department at 970-565-2801 with questions. Dated the 16th day of October, 2025. Tim Purcell Clerk, Bounty Board of County Commissioners, Montezuma County, Colorado, published in the Journal on the Wednesday, January 7th at 2026.
All right, thank you, Jerry. Okay, Don, would you give us a quick overview on this one, please?
Sure. So the Gimmels and Mayberrys would like to do a boundary line adjustment. It's a subdivision amendment because it is in the Butler subdivision. The Gimmel property would be giving up, should have another map there, Travis, for the line change. That new boundary line there to the Mayberry property.
And that's to accommodate the, I guess, structure,
There's
That's
there's
there,
a
or-
she can explain.
proposed structure?
Thank you very much. There is a structure. It was on the Gimmel property originally. We moved it on to, it's still on the Gimmel property until the boundary line gets adjusted, but it's positioned, the new line is positioned so that that building will meet the 30-foot setback requirement.
So it's your building? It's your
Yes.
structure or the Gilmore structure?
It's our, yes.
It's the same family.
Yes, it's the Gimmels are my brother and sister-in-law. So we're all, and our parents own the surrounding property. It's all
Okay.
family property. So that was part of our agreement when we purchased these 2 lots, was that the shed that was on their property would move over and be on our property ultimately.
Okay. Anything else?
No. Planning and zoning was unanimous to recommend it for approval. Their only condition was that they wanted the line to meet a 30-foot setback for the concrete pad that's on the ground. I explained to them that we don't recognize concrete pads, parking lots as structures for setback purposes. So I don't think that condition applies. Their premise was that something could be put on there. Well, something can also be put on the ground. So they all understand that, you know, they can't put a structure back on that slab, but that slab will just exist. It used to have the shed on there, but that since has been moved and won't pose a problem.
So what is the, lot 18 is going to decrease in size? Is the 1.62 acres the decrease? Is that what it's going to actually be?
Yes, that's correct.
And
Right, so
lot-
the smaller lot's getting bigger and the bigger lot's getting smaller. Which those lots were created back in the 50s and 60s, and
Yeah, these are the
It's
less
just-
than 3 acre
it-
lots. They're
yeah.
all the one plus acre lots that live up the river right now.
yeah. This is like the 27th amendment to that whole area.
Questions, gentlemen?
No, this is pretty straightforward. I don't see any problem.
All right, well then I will open up this application for public comment. Anybody wishing to speak for or against the application, come forward to the podium, state your name and address for the record, and you may address the commission at this time. All right, seeing no public comment, I'll close the public comment session of this application, bring it back to the commissioners. Gentlemen, what's your pleasure?
I would so move we accept the proposed subdivision amendment application to lots 17 and 18 of the Butler subdivision submitted by Scott and Gail Mayberry?
Mayberry, yes.
Okay. On property located at 23950 Road 37, Dolores. And, let's see. And consisting of 0.63 acres more or less, and Darren and Candida Gemmel on property located at 23962 Road 37, Dolores.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to accept the proposed subdivision amendment application to lots 17 and 18 of the Butler subdivision submitted by Scott and Gail Mayberry on property located at 23950 Road 37, Dolores, Colorado, consisting of 0.63 acres more or less, and Darren and Candida Gemmel on property located at 23962 Road 37, Dolores, Colorado. Is there any further discussion?
No.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, you
Thank you
are
very
all
much.
approved.
Thank you.
Thank you
Thank you.
very much. And I will close this public hearing.
And for those of you at home tuning in, we're having a little technical difficulty. Getting some flashes and some whatever.
Yeah. If strobe
Okay.
lights affect you, don't look.
Yeah.
Looks
Next
like
up,
we-
we have a Mylar to be signed for GCU's Single Lot Development for the proposed expansion of business, IFA, on 491. That was approved 2 or 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Roll it out. Board of Health won't be in here till 9:30? Well, we might be done by 9:30.
Yeah, we will be done by 9:30.
Board of Health?
Maybe. If you'd hurry up, you know.
Okay, all right, I'm hurrying.
Steven says he moved into executive session.
Okay.
That's all we have on our agenda for this morning.
All right.
Thank
Very
you.
well. Thank you. Appreciate it, guys. Okay, we are going to have we will be adjourning at 9:30, and we will be having a special Board of Health meeting at 9:30, but we'll keep going through the agenda until we get there. So next up, we have public comment. So our rules of decorum will be strictly enforced. Outbursts and interruptions from any person in the hearing room, including shouting, clapping, booing, laughing, or other reactions to the proceedings, are prohibited. Any comments from the public shall only be made by persons who are residents of Montezuma County, who have been recognized by the chair, who are speaking into the microphone, and only after they have stated their name and address for the record. Each person will have 3 minutes to comment. No speaker may yield part or all of their time to another speaker. Comments shall only be made to the board. No comments or questions shall be directed to staff or other members of the public. With that, the chair recognizes Alan Mays.
Good morning. Again, thank you for the opportunity. This is always a good thing to let you guys know citizens' feelings and the public out there as well. Last night we had a traveling town hall in Pleasant View. Again, one more thing that is good for the county, to have those opportunities to come and just visit with the public and with the commissioners on anything. I came away from that with a couple of takeaways. One was that, again, these traveling town halls are good, so that would be number one. One last time, last night I commented on the NCA, and I want to do just one more of those. I think that the fear factor of the wild and scenic designation is the biggest concern that I have for doing an NCA. I don't know what it takes to actually put a wild and scenic into place, but I think it would be very much like the WSAs that are out there. They were put forward through the legislature, and they're just sitting there. And I think that's what could happen with an NCA, figuring out how it needs to be handled best. Again, the local control is my issue, that I'm concerned about how much of that will happen. And so I just wanted to state that when the committee gets formed, the rules get formed, there are people that play the long game that will hold on to making sure that that local control is reduced to the environmental groups, the attorneys, and those special interest groups that are out there will try to manage that committee, in my opinion. But it is my opinion. But I am not ready to see an NCA pushed forward. Congressman Hurd needs more time because he isn't up to speed on it. So I think that has to take place. So I don't know when it'll come up. The other thing that you're probably going to discuss is a health ordinance for blight. And I don't know what the process is for doing one of those. I'm sure you'll be letting us know. But it takes time to develop, put into play a proposal, propose it, and then I hope that the public has an opportunity to review that and give comment on any ordinance that would be coming forward out of that. So anyway, those are my opinions, and I appreciate the time that you give me. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? Okay. With that, I'll close the public comment session of this meeting. And we will go, I guess we have a liquor license renewal. Ms. Frizzell?
My name's Jerry Frizzell. I do the liquor license renewals and new license for Montezuma County. Today I have Triple H and J Incorporated doing business as Smitty Liquors at 10255 Highway 491 in Cortez. And there's been no violations.
Okay.
Yeah.
I move to approve this retail liquor license renewal application for Triple H and J Incorporated doing business as Smitty's Liquors at 10255 Highway 491, Cortez.
Second.
Boo. It's been moved and seconded to accept the retail liquor license renewal application for Triple H and J Inc., doing business as Smitty Liquors, located at 10255 Highway 491, Cortez, Colorado. Is there any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right. It looks like we will have an executive session, but we're going to put that down lower because the time is going to push us to another meeting. So we'll do that after the fact of our Board of Health meeting. So with that, let's jump into your report, Stephen.
Good morning, Commissioners. Last week, we had the Assistant County Attorney Gus Maxwell up here representing the board. I was out of the office that Tuesday. If it's all right with you guys, I think we would like to keep Gus kind of in the mix up here on maybe like a once-a-month basis, just part of our internal operations in our office. I think we both, want to have both of us kind of dealing with more of the issues that are going on. So I think it would be a great experience for Gus to be up here working on some of these land use issues and working with the board, if that sounds all right.
So we didn't scare him away?
Not yet.
I think it's great. I think it's great to have both of you involved. Obviously, sick, vacation, so on and so forth. It helps to have two attorneys that are more up to speed with everything, so I'm
Right.
fine with that.
Great. Otherwise, I would just also add, last week I was doing a lot of research and writing still. We've got a couple different land use things that we're trying to get off the ground still. Also, the continuing, litigation with the Ironwood property, trying to figure out the best ways to move forward in that, which is the subject of our executive session that I've had put on the agenda this week. Otherwise, still working with public health on an IGA with Dolores County as far as sharing services with them, and then also preparing for the OWTS issue that we've got set for the Board of Public Health meeting today. Any questions about any of those issues or otherwise?
Probably not at this time. I may ask the questions during our Board of Health meeting, because I think that's, as we look at the OWTS, that's kind of where it's going to head. But on another question as we address OWTS, a lot of the concern last night in the meeting was, how do we establish an ordinance to take care of some of the, as was mentioned in public comment, blight? And specifically, we were at a location last night that was right across the street from one of the major concerns within the county at this point in time, that we've had a lot of calls. So what, do we have to go back? what really is the process now to move this ordinance forward to where we have more response to take care of some of these, I mean, the environmental, I understand we can take care of with public health, but some of it is just absolutely the blight and the trash.
Yeah. Most specifically, that an ordinance like that would have to be adopted after a public hearing. It's kind of the shorter version. The longer scope, though, is that, Montezuma County still has the comprehensive land use plan in effect that was developed, I think, in the mid-90s, off the top of my head. And there was a consideration of a junk, trash, visual blight ordinance at that time, and it was talked about in the public meetings that were part of developing that plan. And at that time, the recommendation in the plan is that those issues be addressed not through an ordinance, but through more voluntary, maybe neighbors working together, the county doing what they can, to more informally address these issues. So my recommendation would be to either through maybe like an addendum to the comprehensive land use plan or an amendment to really look at what's the big picture plan here on those kind of issues for the county. How should that be addressed? I think that would also probably take like a public hearing, just so that there's, I think it's like good process really at the end of the day, but I think that would be helpful in making a robust, sort of regime about how the county wants to deal with this kind of issue, whether that's an ordinance or something else. I think, from a public process perspective, that would be important to get the input from the community and think about how the junk, trash, visual blight issue kind of fits into everything else we have on the books as far as our land use.
So
Planning.
even more in depth, what some of the comments were last night, and it goes beyond the visual blight. But it's more, the land use code was brought up last night, and it's chapter 2 I can't remember, I couldn't write down as quick as they were talking, but the burning of trash, in the land use code, that is permissible if it's covered, if it's in a pit, if it's in a containment area, but if it's just open and burning out on the ground, that is not permissible. So we already have that tool in the toolbox. What do we need to do to enforce that right now, I guess is the question. That's what they were asking, because it continually gets worse. And then the trash leaving the site, which is not permissible in the land use code right now under what we currently have. So the question to work on getting this resolved out there for our entire county, how does that affect what we have right now to work with?
So what we do, the land use code is the land use code. There's prohibitions about, things you can't do, and you've mentioned some of them. I think practically a difficulty for the county is that we don't have a dedicated staff person really who's working on these issues. And if the county wanted to increase enforcement, say, of some of those things, I think that would be pretty critical because we've got the planning department with two staff who are really not devoted to code enforcement. Their responsibility is more working with property owners who are trying to do land use, maybe rezoning, special use permits, high impact permits, those kinds of issues. We don't have staff who's working specifically on code enforcement who might be, more specifically devoted to working with landowners on some of those issues. And so as a result, we don't have a lot of interaction with property owners on those kinds of issues. And when they do come to the county's attention, it sort of ends up in the lap of the planning department and also myself. And we've both got just kind of a broad set of responsibilities. And so I think it's fair to say that these issues aren't getting the attention that they might if things were structured a little differently.
Okay.
And that is something that we're trying to, make more of a priority, but we just can't, I think, speaking for myself and for planning, I think that, within sort of the basket of responsibilities we have, it's still a pretty small slice of the pie overall.
Okay. So, no, you can't. This is not public comment. This is a public meeting. No, sir, you cannot ask a question right now. Sorry. Okay. Well, then there's more to come, because this is just, we're dealing with this constantly within the entire county. So it may be a little bit bigger conversation, but there are violations, obviously, right now of the land use code everywhere in the county, and we know that, and we're trying to resolve the worst of the worst before they get any worse. This one's becoming one of the worst of the worst. So we'll move that forward and keep working on it. But I'm sure that we're going to have some of the conversation moving forward on OWTS in just a few minutes. So, all right, is that all you have?
Yeah.
All right. Travis, you have 3 minutes. You can start.
Mine won't take 3 minutes, Commissioner. Most of the week last week was dealing with Road and Bridge, meeting with them. We talked about the motor graders and some possible upgrades. Let's see, we've done some Road and Bridge foreman interviews on Thursday, and we had all the foremans part of that evaluation committee, and they did choose a foreman for the Dolores area. We also have a level 2 mechanic out to add, so they're looking for a level 2 mechanic. I reviewed Magellan Strategies' proposal on the sales tax. We're going to have them on the agenda again next week, so they'll, be zooming in. And just to clarify some information that was given to the commissioners last week, it was identified that there was potentially 3,600 properties not on the tax roll. That's not correct. That's far less than that, and the assessor is actually looking at that because most of those properties might already be on the tax roll, but it's not 3,600. So just wanted to clarify that for the commissioners and the public. And then attended a Dispatch County accountability meeting.
All right. Very good. Well, with that, we're going to recess the Board of County Commissioners meeting, and we are going to convene as the Board of Health. So with that, ladies, if you would like to come on down and grab a microphone. And we will be talking about Regulation 43, number 1. So, Ms. Hill, what do you have for us?
So, we approved the OWTS Regulation 43. We submitted it to the state. They approved it. As per the state, they required a 30-day public comment. We achieved that public comment on January 15, 2026 with no public comments, which I was not surprised because there really wasn't a whole lot of changes to the regulation for septic. So with that being said, I'm here today to ask for you all to do the final approval of the OWTS regulation. And if approved, then I will submit it to the state for their final approval, and then we'll adopt it. And so this all takes, the state has 45 days to turn it around on final, and then we will adopt it as a county.
Okay. You guys have any questions?
We have to adopt to adopt.
I know. It's true. It's a thing.
I would so move we adopt Regulation 43 for the Board of Health.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to adopt Regulation 43 as presented for our Public Health Department. Are there any comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Thank you.
All right, next, we have a non-compliant OWTS system. And am I,
Yes, and I do believe, sir, are you Delbert? Okay, hi.
Okay. so
So
you
I'm
can-
Linda Hill, I'm with Environmental Health, so.
So, sir, now I will ask you to come to a seat, grab a microphone, and I will call on you when the time is right.
Yep, got it.
All right.
So Delbert, I've sent you several letters, so we've gotten lots of complaints. And the reason why we asked you here, at least from my perspective, is that we don't have a septic permit on file for your property. And so in order for you to be compliant, I would either need to get a copy of the engineering design, or I would require you to have it inspected, like by N.M.P.M. And I did bring N.M.P.'s number here for you. So what N.M.P.M will do, if you don't have the engineering design, they will come out and do an inspection of your tank and your leach field. And if it passes, then we can permit it. And in order to get it permitted, especially since it's not permitted, it'll be $450 for a permit fee and then $2 because it's an unpermitted system. And so that is why we have you here today, at least why I have you here today. There were other complaints, and I don't know if the commissioners want to talk about the other complaints.
Well, let me jump in here, Linda, if you don't mind. So this meeting is really a public hearing on this complaint of the unpermitted or failing, allegedly failing septic system. So, we've got Linda Hill from the Public Health Department, who's sort of stating her case before the board about, why she thinks it might be necessary to do things like have the Board of Public Health issue a cease and desist order is one of the remedies that the board has, which would be to cease and desist use of the system, or they also have the authority to potentially levy fines for not following the laws in the Regulation 43 about these regulations about the on-site wastewater treatment systems. And so we've got, ultimately the board's gonna have to make that decision, but I think it's really, Linda, you've got the burden here to kind of present the evidence about why you believe the system doesn't have a permit, or why the system is failing in violation of those regulations. And then Mr. Montgomery, you also have an opportunity to address the board, to talk about what might be going on. Obviously, I would encourage you guys also to talk about what maybe you could work together on to resolve these issues. Short, of the board, resorting to some of those options I mentioned.
Thank you, Stephen. So really, quite honestly, when I get a complaint about, and I got a complaint that there was wastewater being discharged on the ground, and so when I get a complaint like that, I go into my database, put in the address, look for a septic system. If I don't find one, we have an old database that I also confirm there if I can find it or not. I always also look for parcel numbers, because addresses can often change, but parcel numbers typically do not. So I again confirm via a parcel number. And I did not find a septic system permit for this property.
Discharged on the ground means like above ground?
Yes. So one of the first complaints that I got was that people were not using, that there was an acrid smell, and that people were urinating or defecating on the ground, was the complaint that I got. And that spawned me to look into, well, why would a person do that? And look to see if there was a septic permit on file, and there was not.
So you can respond, Mr. Montgomery.
Okay.
Before Mr. Montgomery speaks, Linda, you tried to reach Mr. Montgomery numerous times, correct?
Yeah, so my first
Okay.
letter to Mr. Montgomery, thank you, Bobby, was in October 28th, and I asked him to respond by November 28th. Did not hear back from him on the 28th, so then I sent him another letter on December 9th with a request for him to respond by December 31st. And then he failed to respond to that letter. So then ultimately, I sent him a letter January 13th with the request to appear before the board.
I didn't know about the first one. I did get the December 31st notice.
You did? Okay.
So I'm going to ask you to speak into the mic.
Through that time, I've been like a month and a half without a phone, no ride, no job, no license, no car, no way to do anything. I got some renters out there, and they're giving me a hard time. We got our agreements. Give me $500 each. I'll go get my calling card. I can make communications with people. I've just been sitting at home for the last month and a half, not even able to talk to anybody. I still haven't even got groceries in 2 months, you know. Dog hadn't eaten in days. But that's besides the point. I did put in a septic system when I first moved in 6.5 years ago, okay? I did not know about all these rules. I did not even know what I was required. I just kind of learned the hard way that I wasn't supposed to be doing it. I have no problem stopping use of the system. That's not a big deal. It's just been hard to try to get through without, I need an interlock. I gotta buy a vehicle. I'm 20 miles out of town. I don't have a ride. Getting work is very hard. I've got, not this April, but next April is when I pay off the property. It's an 8-year note. And I've just figured as long as I keep going the way I am, that after the property's paid off, it would be a lot easier if nothing changes, that I can just continue collecting the rent and then put it to the side. And I do want to put a proper septic system in. So for 6.5 years, when I put this one in, it's a 500-gallon tank, 10 infiltrators, okay? It's the name brand stuff. It's been working flawlessly. It's 5 acres. My nearest neighbor's like a couple of football fields away at least. I've been there for 6.5 years, and I've never smelled anything. Anybody is totally welcome to come out there and smell, first of all, and verify, is there anything smelling? Nothing smells. If I can't smell it in 6.5 years when I live there, how are they smelling it so far away? But
So let me stop you right
now
there.
we're
And
talking about urinating on top of the ground, and I sure didn't see that one coming.
Yeah,
I
Is that illegal, by the way?
let me ask you a question. Were you able to inspect the property? You did inspect the property?
I did not. I have not. So this is the first time that I've heard back from him.
I'm
Okay.
willing to work with you. I'm just,
Okay. So can we come out and inspect the property?
absolutely.
Okay.
I mean,
So I'll let you guys get that set up.
Fines would just really make it hard for me.
Secondly,
I'm worried about getting kicked off the property or something like that. I want to work with it. I don't mind just disconnecting the system. Come check it every day if you want to verify I'm not being, being shady or nothing. And
I'm more concerned. I'd rather not have you disconnect it if you are using it and if it is fully functional. Yeah, you
It's
cannot
been working great.
discharge any kind of wastewater on the ground. That's goes against all health regulations.
so the first thing, it seems like we need to go
Site
do
visit.
an on-site inspection just to see what we have. He's already said that the system doesn't comply with the regulation anyway.
Right.
With
And I
a
do want to
500-gallon
work
tank.
with
But again, if the system is working, it's better to have something working than not at all.
Right.
But there is a time frame that we're gonna
It's
make
hard.
make that system be functionable to what everybody else is having to do. Ignorance is no excuse,
Right.
sir.
I'm
I am
expecting-
sorry. I don't care if you've been there 10 years, 10 years. There's proper things that we have to do within this county for the health, safety, and welfare.
Yeah, I learned all this
So-
after I signed my deed.
You're living there,
I
correct?
didn't know these things before this. No
You're
one ever
living there?
informed me. Yes, I understand.
Okay.
Yeah, I want to work with you guys, really, because I know I need to do it, and I know in the future, I want to build a house, 3-bedroom house. I know I'm going to need a engineer drawing, the whole works now, right? I've learned all this, and I was amazed at how much it's at least $5,000 if I do it myself, just in parts. And that's pretty hard to come up with, but I know that the day comes when, you know, if it works out, I'm not getting no younger. If I do get that house built and I want to sell it, as I understand now, a bank is going to require that septic to be in before they would ever even give a loan. Sorry, I got a little dehydrated. But, yeah, I was told I won't even be able to sell it unless I just sell it to like the owner did with me, subdivided and just sold it to me directly, which is why I didn't learn about this stuff in advance. That sure I could sell it that way maybe, but a bank is to get involved, they would require that septic system.
Sure, and that's really not anything to do with this public hearing today, so I'm gonna move it back to stay focused on what we're talking about.
Okay.
So we need an inspection, you to work it out, and then we'll move with these findings because it is definitely non-compliant at this point in time. The other issues that we have.
It sounds like I'm on a roll, I just didn't get it all in, that maybe a little more. So, okay, sorry.
It can be upgraded, it can be done whatever the engineer states, but you do have to have an engineered system. Therefore, that requires an engineer, the drawings, and everything to be compliant. And that's been in place since
Do you guys know who?
20 years
who
ago.
drawings?
I have a list of engineers and installers that I can provide for you. And I can bring that with the site visit.
I've heard of somebody maybe working at Wimmanooch. I don't know who his name is.
She has a list of engineers that you can choose from. We won't recommend one or the other, you choose yourself. So can you get that inspection done within the week?
Yeah. So,
Don't do nothing?
well, I'll schedule with you. We can do that, not,
I mean, I was scared to walk in. I'm like, I gotta walk in. I wonder if he's over there.
So we are talking about the CC property, correct?
yes.
So, Mr. Montgomery, I'm gonna, I've got to say somewhat focused on this public hearing.
Yeah, I would just advise the board, this is a public hearing about the on-site wastewater treatment system, so that's really the scope of our discussion.
So you have visually seen that from the road last night. It looks like there's a couple RVs out there along with a single wide.
My aunt has a camper that's just parked. I've got 2 renters.
Is anybody living in those? Is anybody dwelling in there?
In one of the campers.
It doesn't have a OWTS on it.
They're not hooked up to any septic or nothing. I don't know what that is.
It's a
On
septic
site, it's a
system.
septic
How
system.
are they handling?
They have their own containment system.
Okay, now we have 2 non-compliant issues.
I would like
So-
to, I would like to inspect that as well to see how they're handling the discharge of.
Sure.
Okay.
She
I
can
can tell you
inspect
what
it
to
at
do.
the same time.
Okay.
I can just tell you right now, you wanna know.
I think what we need to just continue this public hearing. Do you guys want to do it next week at the same time?
Can you do
Does that give you enough time?
Yeah, I'll get it. So I will clear my schedule and I will,
Is there any way
Come
I
out
can
there.
just do this from home, like WebEx or anything? This is very hard for me to get here. I've only been home like once in 4 days. Just-
Commissioners, I might just suggest
Like-
continuing it a little bit longer, maybe to allow for some subsequent developments after the inspection, maybe a month would be my recommendation.
There ain't no way I'm gonna like throw in a septic in a month, five grand. I can work with you, but I need to be worked with also.
Well, we need to
So
do
I
the
think the
inspection
site-
before we
If
make
at
our
all possible.
findings of which way we're going to go.
so the site visit, and so maybe what we could do is I could do the site visit this week, and then I could just report on the findings at the Board of Health meeting next week, if you'd like, or Stephen, you advise it how you think would best be to proceed.
Are we already set for a Board of Health meeting next week?
No.
We'll set another Board of Health. So,
Okay.
again, just from what we heard last night, I don't want to kick this thing down the
Right.
road. This can's been kicked down the road long enough, and I'm not willing to just go another month. We've already given it 60 days for a response. We didn't get a response, and here we are. So I'm not willing to kick the can down the road. That's one commissioner. I have two others with me.
I agree. I would take it just a step further, that you educate yourself on the codes and the land use code and the regulations to be a responsible homeowner.
I'm learning.
So we will allow Ms. Hill to do her inspection. You guys coordinate that?
Yes.
We can meet next week, and then at that point in time, we can find we'll make a determination on our findings. If that doesn't give us enough time, then we'll move it another week. But,
What is the worst possible outcome?
go ahead, Don.
Well, I'm going to say cease and desist. I mean, if I go out there and,
Do I get told I can't stay on the property or something? Anything like that?
no, it's just,
'Cause
or I guess I should,
I need a place to live too, you know?
but we would have to come to an agreement on how this wastewater is being handled. And if it's, and
That's
if
the
it,
first step.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's the first step.
Can I didn't know that this meeting was being held. I took a quick look, and I'm pretty sure the road impact fees have not been paid for our residents on the property, which is one of the conditions of the land use code, which is also a condition to getting a septic permit.
Yep,
Another
it
thing
is.
I also need to come up with.
When I spoke to the owner initially in 2019, there wasn't a resident on there. So I'm pretty sure nothing's been done through the course of the land use code since then. But we would have to double verify that. I just wanted to make sure that the owner was aware of that condition as well.
Okay. So, Mr.
I do know I still need to come up with that one too.
Okay. So
And
I would recommend you get with planning before you leave this building and find out what you need to comply with. Set an appointment with Ms. Hill so that you can get your on-site wastewater treatment system inspected sometime next week or this week. And then we will meet again at 9:30. We're going to continue this public hearing until 9:30 of next week. With that,
I would just encourage you to make a motion.
yes.
So moved.
Can I just add one thing? I'm sorry. What we typically like to do is to have the land use codes paid for those fees before we do our septics.
the road fee before the septic? What is that,
Just,
like
that
12?
is historically how we've been
Before we
operating.
issue a septic
So.
permit, and I understand that, and that's
$1,200
probably which way we'll head.
Right.
However, right now, we're trying to do the inspection to see if we
What's
actually
going on.
have.
Okay.
um,
So we'll go out, lay eyes on it, but that's
Yes.
the extent of it until
Yeah.
fees are paid.
And then
Sure.
at that point in
Okay.
time, we'll make a determination.
I just wanted to clarify that.
Didn't know where to
Okay.
do it.
Yeah, and that's fine. I mean, I often just educate people that road impact fees come first, but in this case, like Candelaria said, we need to visually see what's going on that property just to make sure that for the health aspect of it, what's happening with the wastewater.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to continue this public hearing on the non-compliant on-site wastewater system until 9:30 next week. Any discussion?
No.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay.
Thank you very much.
Get with our staff and figure out what you've got to get done.
Appreciate it, guys.
All right, thank you.
We'll figure it out.
And we will, do you want a
Adjourn.
motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn the Board of Health
Second.
meeting.
It's been moved and seconded to adjourn the Board of Health meeting, and we'll reconvene as the Board of County Commissioners. And well, let's go ahead and finish our reports, and then we'll go into executive session. So, Miss Jerry, do you have anything from the clerk and recorder?
No, Kim and Diane and Melinda are in this Pueblo right now doing conference. We have a new system coming for motor vehicle. So that's one thing they're discussing up there. Next month it comes into play for our motor vehicle department, and it's gonna be a big change. So they're up there on conference learning all that.
Okay,
That's it.
all right, thank you. Commissioner Copenafer.
This past week, I attended the Mancus meeting. It was pretty short. A little discussion about the public elections and stuff that's, town elections that's coming up and stuff. Not a whole lot of stuff on their agenda. Want to remind all the MVI stockholders that we're going to have our annual meeting this next Saturday. This coming Saturday at 1 o'clock out at the community center. If you're a shareholder in MVI, try to show up or get your proxy to somebody, or so we have enough quorum there to hold the meeting. Appreciate people showing up, attending, if they'll come in. Otherwise, we did have a conference call and Zoom for some informational meeting about the NCA with or Representative Hurd's staff, and this past week also for an hour or so. That's about all I got.
All right, thank you. Commissioner Lindsay.
Yes, went to Cortez City Council meeting last Tuesday. They did a number of approvals on liquor license throughout the city of Cortez. Did a site plan review out in the industrial park, and an ordinance setting the municipal elections. There are, with the resignation of the mayor of Cortez, there's going to be 5 seats open for election in the city of Cortez. Also, they approved some historic designations, and they have a problem at the rec center with the slide tower. It's coming apart. Big old chunk of concrete fell, and they're seeking, well, they have some money in contingency to help fix it, because to replace it was over $1 million. They had a successful bidder for renovating a building that they bought, and other than that, they went into executive session, and also they authorized the city manager to negotiate with a company to replace a raw water valve. And that's about all I have to report. Oh, I did go to a dispatch meeting with Travis, and also last night we met with the community out in Pleasant View.
All right, very good. I spent the day or last week, Wednesday and Friday, on the road to Denver for a state fire commission meeting. One of the things that I do want to bring and highlight is the Ponderosa Mountain Pine Beetle Task Force by executive order from the governor, 25001. It's been in play for a while, but I'll leave this here if anybody's interested in reading the executive order. The pine beetles are, obviously, if you look around the state, you can see what they're raising havoc with everything, and they're trying to get a better handle on it. I'm not sure how they're going to do that, but the executive order is here. A lot of the conversation at the DFPC meeting was the budget. Lack of better terms this year, it'll probably be pretty turbulent for them, because the state is still trying to figure out where they're going to come up with all the money that they do not have. So the DFPC will be functioning pretty much as they did last year. We sunsetted a committee on training, and this was basically, the reason it was sunset is because we need to figure out for sure the standards in the different areas. They have N.M.P.M that they follow, but they also have a standard between municipalities, the urban areas, the rural areas, I mean, we have people out in Burlington that have to run traffic accidents on I-70 that are out there all day long, and the response times are not the same as you would have in city of Durango, downtown Denver. I mean, there's just different standards that have to be come up with. Still a lot of talk about establishing a state fire marshal's office. Colorado still does not have a state fire marshal's office. Our neighbors to the south obviously have one. It seems to function and work pretty well. Insurance is still another big issue. The insurance companies all work on an ROI, and if they're not meeting their ROI, they are not staying in the state of Colorado due to wildfire, floods, and or hail. So that continues to be a conversation. If you have insurance right now, homeowners insurance, hold on to it, because there's nothing that says you may or may not keep it. So be very cautious and aware of that. The power grid with the utilities company was another big conversation. In the Front Range, Excel has been doing, I'm sure you guys have all heard about it and read about it on the news, but they're shutting their power distribution lines down. It could be 24, 48. They're just not going to take any hit from it sparking anything and creating a wildfire, specifically with the winds that we've been having in the Front Range. So that's XL Energy. Down here, we haven't had anything like that up to this point in time.
We've gone to what they call one shot. If it blinks once, the system will shut off in that area.
So
But we're back to three shot right now.
it's a major concern, just because of the wildfires, and they've been blamed a lot for a lot of the wildfires that were started. So they're being very proactive, and they're actually shutting the power off. Let's see, and that's about all that I have for that. We did attend a meeting last night at Traveling Town Hall. It was pretty well attended. A lot of good questions out there last night. Didn't really have anything on rumor control other than one for Graveling CC up to, I'm sorry, Graveling 21 Road up to CC. We took care of that rumor last night. But I will just publicly state that in our coffee with the county last week, I made an error and I want to correct it. The question was asked, how many people do we have on the Planning and Zoning Commission? And I stated 7. That is actually 5 with 1 alternate. So I just wanted to make that clarification and correction. It's 5, not 7, with 1 alternate. And with that, that is all that I have. So we will.
Commissioners, I would recommend that the board move to go into executive session for purposes of receiving legal advice. I've been doing some additional legal research as it relates to the next steps that might be available to the board in trying to get the Ironwood property cleaned up. So that would be the purpose of the executive session. Because it would be for legal advice, it does not need to be recorded. And I believe present would be the commissioners, myself, the administrator Travis Anderson, and Jerry Frizzell.
With that, I would so move we go into executive session for a conference with the attorney for the purpose of receiving legal advice on specific legal questions under CRS, Colorado Revised Statutes, Section 24-6-402, parentheses 4, parentheses B. Oops, sorry.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to move into executive session for a conference with the attorney for the purpose of receiving legal advice under specific legal questions under CRS Section 24-6-402, parentheses 4, parentheses B. Included in that executive session will be clerk and recorder Frizzell, Commissioners Copenhaver, Candelaria, Lindsay, Attorney Tarnowski, and Administrator Anderson. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. We're ready. Bring us out.
Okay, I would so move we come out of executive session.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to exit executive session and proceed with our regular BOCC meeting. Any discussion?
No.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, do you want to report anything, Stephen, or?
Just for the record, Commissioner, I gave legal advice on the issue that was noticed about, my additional research and possible next steps for the county as it relates to our litigation about the Ironwood property. We did not make any decisions related to that, and we did not discuss any topics other than those that were noticed, and no one was present who wasn't noticed as participating in that meeting.
Okay, thank you. Do you have anything else, gentlemen?
No.
All right.
Having no other business to come before this board, a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to adjourn this January 20th, 2026 meeting. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye.